Hello and welcome back to another Grunt Soldiers tutorial. This time we're doing a completely different game. We're going on to Gears of War 2 and we're going to find all 41 collectible locations. Now we're going to jump straight into Act 1 and the first collectible is at the end of this linear path on the end of this road, right near the beginning.
First things first, bro.
The second collectible is again on the training mission, but it's after you've been in the parking lot and you come down the ladder. If you turn right instead of left, you can go to the end where there's a small garage and the collectible is on the left. The third collectible is on Chapter 2. It's just after you've blown up the explosive tanks. If you turn to your left, there's a small room and the collectible's in there. The next collectible comes 2 rooms later. It's behind this opened out desk and it's on the floor. It's a little red and white piece of paper. Collectible number 5 is in the cafeteria area. If you go through the kitchen and then you run down, there's a hallway, and then if you turn to your right, it's in a small little room. This collectible will also get you the 5 gamer score collector achievement. Once you pass the room where the raven falls through the roof, if you go over to the right and run down this little section here, there is a cog proclamation right at the end. The next one is your first set of cog tags. It's really easy. If you go to the right just as you go outside, it's on the floor for you. Now we move on to Chapter 3. And although this is a vehicle-based level, there is a collectible right at the back for you. The second collectible on this chapter is while Dizzy is mending the vehicle. The collectible is over to your left, and it's next to an ammo crate. Chapter 4 doesn't have any collectible, but on Chapter 5, if you go over the counter right near the beginning and then go upstairs, you'll find a Jacinto newspaper on the floor. The next collectible is again on Chapter 5 and it's quite hard to notice. It's after you've been killing the tickers. If you go over to the right, there's a memorial inscription on the wall. If you go up to that and press X, there's your collectible. I'm not entirely sure how this wall will fit in the war journal, but there you go. Collectible number 12 is after you've had the fight at the petrol station. If you actually go inside the petrol station and go to the back room, the collectible's on the floor for you. Your next collectible, and the last one for this act, is a set of cog tags. If you go over to the left while you're in the tunnel, right near the end, there's a small room that has the cog tags on your right.
Check this out.
The first chapter of Act 2 has no collectibles at all, but on the second one, it's right near the beginning. After you've gone past the first worm, there's a small room on your left that you have to chainsaw to get into. The collectible's on the floor. Your next collectible is after you've had the fight with the Troika and the Reavers. It's behind a truck, and that's where you'll find the Cantus Scroll. The next mission only has 1 collectible, and it's right after the first fight. If you go through the big stone doors, it's on your right.
Check this out.
Collectible number 17 is in the next mission, and it's in the fight with the Blood Mounts. It's down the right-hand path instead of down the centre, and it's hidden behind a car. Your last collectible on this chapter is just after Cole saves you from the ambush. Straight after the cutscene, if you go around the corner to your right, the cog tags are laid on a body. There's only 1 collectible on Chapter 5, and it's just after you've saved Baird. If you go to your right, instead of going straight ahead, you'll find a Stranded's journal. Right at the beginning of Chapter 6, if you go to the left, you'll find the Car Gold magazine, which will get you the Pack Rat achievement. Your next set of cog tags and the final collectible for this act is right after the giant ball begins chasing you. If instead of going up the ramp at the beginning, you turn left, you'll find them on the floor for you. The first collectible of Act 3 is in the second chapter. After you go up the stairs from going through the blast doors, if you go to a small room on your right, it's in there.
Let me know if I can be of any assistance.
The next collectible in this chapter is in the main corridor with the turret. If you turn right, and then right again, there should be a door for you to kick down. If you kick it down, and then go into the little room, it's right there in the corner.
And another one for the turret.
The final collectible in this chapter is in the room full of turrets. If you go to the switch where you have to turn them off, there's a small room behind it. The collectible's in there. Your 25th collectible is when you go outside in the razor hail. It's in a small building on your right, and it's right at the back.
And another one for the job.
Your next collectible is quite an unusual one. When you go outside, just about to board the last train, if you turn it to an immediate right, the collectible is in a small building on the wall.
And another one for the job.
There isn't any collectibles in Chapter 4, but there is in Chapter 5. It's after the gunboats have come, and then when you enter the ruins, if you turn right and then go up to these small steps, the collectible's at the top. Now we move on to Act 4, and the first collectible is in Chapter 1, and it's right near the end. As you go towards the terminal, if you go over to the left and go on to the other terminal that's sat there, that's the collectible. The only collectible in Chapter 2 is at the second terminal. If instead of you going to the terminal, if you turn left and go behind this truck, the collectible is laid there for you.
Tom, check it.
Your next collectible is in the next chapter, and it's right at the beginning. If you turn right here, and then run underneath the bridge, and then turn left, it's in this little walkway, and that's where you find the Locust Jailer document. Your next collectible in this chapter is quite a difficult one, and you have to be really fast. After you've killed the two mulchers, if you run along here and get underneath this door, the human finger necklace will be on the right. If you don't do it, just reload from checkpoint. Collectible number 32, which is in Chapter 4, is one of the more obvious ones that most people will already have. Once you've got to the top of this spiral staircase, if you go over to the left, there's a weird pedestal thing. This weird pedestal is actually the Locust calendar. Your next collectible is later on in Chapter 4, and it's in the room where you have to expand the bridge. If you go across the bridge and turn left, the collectible is at the end next to an ammo crate.
Tom, check it.
Now we move on to Chapter 5, and the first collectible is relatively early on. If you look out for the Locust lift, you should run straight past it. If you go past the first doorway and go on to the second, if you walk up these small steps, the collectible is laid there for you. Collectible number 35 is just after you split up. If you go all the way around the edge to where the grinders were shooting down, and then go down these steps, the collectible will be part of the floor. Your next collectible is in Chapter 6, and it's really early on, between these two pillars here. It's right out in the open, and it's really easy to spot.
Knock it off.
Your first collectible of Act 5 is in Chapter 2, and it's just after the Ravens come and take out the Reavers. If you go down onto this balcony here, then there's a small PDA kind of thing on the floor. That's your collectible. Collectible number 38 can be found during the fight with the two broom mats. If you run over to the right and go onto the balcony where the long shot is, then there's a pair of cog tags laid there for you. Your next collectible is in Chapter 3, and it's in the fight in the plaza. Just after you've killed the grinder boomer, and if you go to where it came from and turn right, you'll find a Jacinto newspaper. Your second to last collectible in the game, and your last set of cog tags, is just after you've got the Hammer of Dawn. When you run through this building, and then you turn left, you'll find the cog tags laid on the floor. Your 41st and final collectible is in the Chapter 4 of Act 5. It's at the bit where the building falls down and you go outside. If you go outside and you go behind this desk in the corner, there's a stranded journal waiting for you. I'll be making more tutorials in the future, so go up to the top and click subscribe. I'd like to thank all of you for watching this video, and I hope it helps. I'm going to leave you now with a clip of the toaster Easter egg in Gears of War 2.
Water shall meet fire, and our enemies will meet their doom.
Chipper, ain't she? Oh, yeah.